downtown Duluth, on my way to the second annual Junk Food Film Festival.
Pretty baby, let's do the shimmy slide.
Thank you. All right, just a little bit in the light here. My name's Matt.
I'm Marin.
And how many of you were here last year? Just let's see. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Thank
nice.
you for coming back. That's really awesome. So you kind of know what to expect. For those of you that haven't been here before, this is a 2-day event, and it's a lot of audience participation, a lot of trivia, just kind of going crazy.
A lot of prizes.
A lot of prizes. We have so many. We had a lot of prizes last year. We have so many more this year. So tonight, normally we do, like last year we did Creating Realm Lazar, and we had some fun little things to shout out, things to do during the movie. Tonight will be a little different. We won't be shouting anything out. We'll just be having a good time, enjoying the movie. We're really excited to screen this movie. And Marin and I saw it. We started it at like 1 a.m. on a trip, and we got about 5 minutes in and we were like, we have to finish this. My stomach hurt so much from laughing. I just thought it was just the most fantastic movie, and we knew this had to open our second festival. So a few things that we should go over. I guess you want to talk about just some of the drawings we have or anything like that?
Oh yeah, so if you weren't aware, we are doing a raffle. Our fantastic local artist, Uncle Clutch, if you want to make yourself known, Uncle Clutch, where are you? He's in the back. He's the one with the face paint. He made some amazing VHS dioramas of Bobcat Goldthwait's various movies. Bobcat was very kind to sign those. So you can buy raffle tickets to try to win them. It's $10 for the first ticket, $5 for any additional tickets you want to buy. And the proceeds will, 100% of the proceeds will be going to the Lewy Body Dementia Association for charity. So we will be doing the raffle for those during the Big Shark screening tomorrow. So do be here for those. Oh, and in your bags, when you got your tickets, you should have gotten a postcard. If you're interested, you can fill that out and drop it in the drop box by our tape tooth monster out in the lobby to win 6 months of the Found Footage Festival's VHS of the Month Club, which is a lot of fun. I signed up for a year of it. They send you a VHS every month and a bunch of other weird goodies that they throw in there. It's a lot of fun. So.
Okay, a few more things to go over. Obviously, we have a very special guest tonight who will be joining us at the end of the film for a nice Q&A. Then we will do some trivia and prizes, so stick around for that, please. I do want to say a very special thank you to our sponsors. Lush Skinwalker, thank you very much for sponsoring us. Fickers, thank you very much for sponsoring us. This is not an easy festival to sponsor. The first year we showed Bat Pussy, and because of that we became kind of toxic. So we appreciate any help that we can get because it's a weird little festival, and we appreciate everybody coming out to have fun with us. So thank you very much. With that being said, let's get to the show. We have some very fun surprises in store. If you were here last year, there was a fun surprise during the Bat Pussy. We'll see if we can top that this year. But
for those who weren't here, he proposed to me during Bat Pussy. And it's still on.
Yes. So, before we begin, I thought I'd let you know that about a year or so ago, we were introduced to a actor from our good friend Jesse. His name is Daryl, and you're going to be seeing a bit of Daryl throughout the festival. And I don't need to say much more than that, but this first video will introduce you to our friend Daryl. Please enjoy the festival, and we'll see you right after the movie.
Thank you guys.
John Brittle. I like the way you die, boy. vista, baby.
All right, that was really sweet. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Thank you. All right,
thank you.
so
Yeah,
we
I'll
all know
make
what
sure.
you're here
Thanks.
for. You're here for Bobcat. So I would like to welcome Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah, I have something else. This is great. Thanks for having me and showing the movie. And this is nothing. I was having kind of a bad day, so this is really, really sweet. I mean, I wasn't having a Perry day, but I was. But yeah, you know, when I was watching it, there's still stuff that I noticed that I've never noticed. You know, because like it's. I mean, I directed it and stuff and helped sculpt it and everything, but you know everybody's kind of left. There was so much going on that like, you know, Burt Ward, he's got toilet paper, and he just made that and showed up, and and just so many things like that in the movie that you know, and now Tom Kenny was Santiago, the costumer, so I'm sure Nickelodeon would be really happy if they knew SpongeBob was in this movie. But Tom Kenny's been my friend since I was 6 years old. I've known him my whole life, and we're still best friends. But and then there's a couple times where people go up, they start laughing, and that made me laugh this time. You know? I only broke character once. There's a scene that's not in the movie. The first cut of the film was 4.5 hours long. So there's a scene that's not in the movie where Perry's on top of the building, and I have the bullhorn. And I go, and Perry's there with this double. I go, move the dummy and the mannequin. And Perry's like, hey! So I smashed myself in the face with a bullhorn so I'd stop laughing. Yeah, there's a lot that it's just so many. What did I hear? I heard Travis Bickle say something I never heard. It's like, oh, he just says, he says, maybe you could put this in your movie. It's so. I'll open it up for questions actually, because is that cool? Hi.
How did Perry react when he found out?
Well, there's footage. There's so much footage of Perry. You know, so Don and Mole, Tony, they had been doing this 10 years to Perry before I ever was involved. You know, and Jimmy Kimmel produced it, and he said. You know, I go, I don't know how I feel about this. And he goes, well, just go meet him. And he insulted me twice in less than a minute. And he asked me a disgusting question about my fiance at the time's breasts. And then he said something else. And I walked back up to Jimmy's office and I go, yeah, I'm in. Even ethically, even during the movie, I was like, I don't know if I can finish this. And Jimmy's like, if you don't finish this, Perry's dreams don't come true. It's an interesting study on people, because there's people on the crew that was like, had a lot of problems with the ethics of it. Rightly so. I mean, I just, you know, I don't, but the spooky part was that they kept showing up, you know, which is really spooky. There's some things that were really cringy. I don't think the Schindler's List 2 cast showing up and playing basketball really aged very well. I was like, so there's footage of Perry watching it, you know. So initially Perry was. You know, we had a meeting, and it's like, oh, the movie's not coming out. He's like, I knew it, you know, and then Don and Mo are like, well, I think I can't remember if it was Saul. Someone goes, well, if we could make it like a behind the scenes, like a prank movie, and and Don's like, oh, it could be about me and how everything went wrong and it was a prank on me. And then Mole's going, no, it should be about me. And Perry goes, no fucking way. If you're gonna do that, it's gotta be about me. So Perry's he has new management, and you can find him online. He live streams, and people
Find him on Twitch. We watched
on
him
Twitch.
on Twitch.
Yeah. Did you see the rhinoceros thing? I'm not involved in that at all. I went down the rabbit hole. So a neighbor somehow they hacked into his ring, and there's a rhinoceros in the hall. So. I feel that Perry's probably like that, when you find out that there might not be a Santa, but you just keep it going because it also means there's no more presents. So I feel that that's probably where Perry's at. And like he says, he'll do anything to be famous. He didn't, yeah, I mean, it's still disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite visual gags was like that upside down cow in the
Yeah.
in the office. I was just wondering, so how did you find that? Like, what was where'd that come about even?
Well, it is weird. It's like people where the set deck says, hey, I've got this cow, and I didn't know if it was going to make it in the movie. I said, well, put it off to the side, and then Don just does that. And, so I mean, like I said, I may have directed it, but it's certainly not the way I would direct a movie where there's so much free reign given. It's fascinating. You just have to trust it and then realize that you'll be editing it, and so many things didn't make the movie. There was but that's just, I mean, there was a lot that didn't make the movie. Bob Einstein was in it, Super Dave, and he's playing a cop, and he convinces Perry he'll let him out of the ticket because if he paddles him. And, so Refrigerator Perry, he was on a need-to-know basis, like. I started to try to explain what was going on, and his manager said, "Just don't. That's too much." And then so he saw Yergy had a gun, and then he got really freaked out. And I explained that Yergy didn't have any bullets in his gun. The Refrigerator Perry. Jesus Christ, that was a fucking crazy movie. All right. So he met Yergy. There's a little bit of the footage. Yergy had bought a painting at Pee Wee Herman's garage sale, and it was worth $40,000. And so there was a deal going down, or Yergy was going to buy it, and then they met at the train station in Union Station, downtown LA, and. Yergy senses that the deal's fucked up. Because Perry, they go, Perry, Yergy's this Russian mafia, Ukrainian, wherever he's from, but Romanian mafia that produces porn, but he's, but he doesn't trust us, so he's gonna meet us there, and you're gonna say, he'll say, "Are you a bird watcher?" And you'll say, "The whippoorwill flies west." He goes, "Say what you're gonna say." "I know what I'm gonna say." So then Yergy shows up. He goes, "Are you a bird watcher?" And he goes, "Yeah." So, the thing is there's footage from the very first night Don and Mole met him, and they just saw him do an open mic, and they brought him home, and then they started auditioning him for, it's insane, the levels of this movie, There's one scene it's not in the movie, it's just, it was interesting because, spoiler, so John Quincy Adams is Mole, that's why Mole always has to get up and make a phone call. So, Perry, I gotta get something to eat, so Perry, and also, Perry hates drugs and he hates Mole getting stoned. So he really is stoned a lot. So like when the Hiroshima Nagasaki comes up, Mole Tony was really high and he came out and he just smelled the weed. So he's like, "You let him smoke pot." So yeah. What was the question? It's really bananas. Hi.
The names. I mean, I love the names. Did Perry like know who these people were? Like,
yeah, he didn't know who they were, but he'd go, "I've heard of Roman Polanski." You know, but you know, and to his credit, you know, there was PAs that there was a PA that told Ansel Adams they studied his photos in college. So, you know, you couldn't tell. I just kept thinking everyone was filming when I was peeing during it. It was really, really strange. But yeah, so there would be people on the movie because it would make sense, you know, so the real Refrigerator Perry's there, so why not? So you said, like, what did Perry make of it? He likes it, you know. I don't know at what level he understands, you know, I don't think he cares. Years ago, although I know I wouldn't get him, but I was at a screening kind of like this, and people were saying, "Oh, this is fake," and then I just called Perry, and he's like, I go, "Perry, why aren't you here in Atlanta?" He goes, "What? No one told me to go to Atlanta. I gave Don Barris 10 grand, and you were supposed to fly to." Are you fucking kidding me? And then I go, "Any questions to Perry?" And after that, everybody believed it. Highway in the back.
Yeah, I actually wanted to know more about the names. I was wondering what like the brainstorming session was like for that, and if there were any names that you guys said no.
No, I mean, you know, Hiroshima Nagasaki, I guess we really didn't hold back too much, but you know, it was definitely a collaboration in a lot of things. It kind of, you know, in my Eric Idle's a buddy of mine, and I'll ask him, "Hey, who wrote this?" And he'll go, "I have no idea." You know, and so like that sometimes I go, "Oh yeah, I came up with that idea," but you know, it's hard to remember. Like president of show business has been a joke used for a long time, and the pigeons in the door. What was funny about that is we would roughly kind of do a rehearsal, kind of guessing what might happen, you know, and Sal, he was blocking, acting as if he's Perry, and he walks in, and I didn't do this as a gag. I didn't tell him there's birds in the door, and he opens it up, and he goes, "Whoa!" really high-pitched scream. It was pretty funny, but
Did you put something in the blender to make him shit, or was that just documentary magic?
No, that was magic. He, you know, I remember one night I got a text from PJ, from Johnny Knoxville. He's like, are you manipulating the sound in the toilet when he's taking a shit? I go, nope, that's all. These are really important stuff. Celebrities text to each other.
How long did Perry stay strapped to that chair?
Not that long, because I think he just gave up. He just shut down, you know. It went from being funny to being really weird, so we got him out. But he also exaggerates a lot when he's doing his interviews, like you know, Bobcat threw me in there. You know, he went in there twice, but he starts adding on and stuff. I have to apologize. Like I'm like making excuses, you know. It's funny. My daughter was like, "Dad, people are gonna think you're an asshole." When she saw it. That was when she saw it. When she was still in high school. And then recently, a few years ago, there was an anniversary screening, and I love my daughter and everything, but I've never been I'm not on all the time kind of person, and it was very funny because we were watching it, and in this big theater, and my daughter, and I said something on screen, and my daughter looks at me, she goes, "You're funny." And she's never said that, but it was like getting to pet a fawn, you know. It's like, just be cool, you know, just be cool. Anything else? Oh, hi.
For anyone who has 5.5 hours of their life to lose, there is an assembly cut of the movie on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the Super Dave is the best part. That's the only
Oh,
part.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bob Einstein, Super Dave. So I used to direct the Kimmel Show. I did that for 3 years, and oh my God, I used to torture that guy because it was fun to get Super Dave wound up, and so one day he shows up, and I said to props, I go get a TV and wrap it up and unwrap it like a gift and give me a card, and I wrote on the card, "Dear Andy, another tremendous job. Thank you for coming on the show. Your friends at the Jimmy Kimmel Show." And I had him put it in Dave's dressing room, so it looked like someone left a TV that they had opened in there. And he wasn't in the room for 5 minutes, and he goes, "Who the fuck is Andy that got a TV for being on the show? I'm on the show every fucking month." He's furious. They're like, "Andy Dick. Andy Dick! Has Andy Dick ever said anything funny?" Like, furious. And then they go, "He's really mad." I go, "Okay, we'll move him out and put him in." There was this dressing room that had been an actual closet, and I go, "Put him in the tiny closet," and they wrapped up he's just yelling at his wife on the phone, and she goes, he goes, "Oh, they're giving me something," because they come with a box, and he opens it up, and it was just a Jimmy Kimmel Live baseball hat, and it just said, "Dear guests, thanks for coming on the show." So I think I'm not a prank guy, but I clearly am. You know.
Did you guys have like backup pranks like in the wings in case things didn't go well?
Yeah, I mean that's what we were saying. There's like a 4.5 hour assemblage. Is that what you said? Yeah. So there not backup, but just there was so many, you know, and then it was left to me and the editor Brad Morrison and Kimmel and the writers and and Don and Tony and everybody, but to mold it, you know, to make sure that there was a narrative, which was funny. Today was the first time that at the end I actually was happy for Perry at the end of the movie, because usually I'm thinking of all the man. When I was watching that Travis driving the car stuff, man, that was so illegal. He went and got a chauffeur license so he could film that scene. But I mean, he's just taking these, crossing 4 lanes of traffic. That was pretty sketchy. Yeah. It's like making the French Connection, freaking just going out with a car. Am I missing anyone? Hi.
Was there an experience from this movie that affected your direction, or going into your next movies that you would go to make? Was there anything that kind of carried over?
Did this carry over to anything?
Anything learned?
Did I learn anything? I think if anything, it was definitely, I've always been this way, but probably even more. I tend to, when I make a movie or anything I make, I give a lot of freedom, knowing that at the end of the day I'll be in the editing room. So this gave me a lot. It made it, just to be able to take risks. I used to think like when you let an actor ad-lib, and then you didn't put it in the movie, they would be upset that it wasn't in. But I noticed they never know. They felt great that day, and it loosens them up, And a lot of ad-libs make it in, and a lot of them don't. But I think it gave me a little more confidence in not worrying about, you have to say my words the way they were written, and just kind of let people come up and do what they do. Because, man, that movie really is a collaboration. There's so many people. Like I was thinking about when he's reading the dialogue about biting the bra and her creamy breasts or something, and that was our very female producer wrote up those pages. We didn't know that it wasn't like scripted. It was just we needed pages, and then lo and behold, that made it in the movie. So it was just definitely it was the biggest collaboration I think I've ever been involved in. Hi.
Did they ever try to bring you in on any of the further Perry stuff? Because they just went on and on, like the Big Three podcast.
Yeah. No, I've done a little bit.
You had enough.
Yeah, the last thing I did was so dark. I was like, I think I'm out, guys. I don't think that will ever see the light of day, but yeah, it's not that it got too dark or anything. It's just that I'm always kind of trying to make the next thing, and that's why you don't see me at Comic-Cons. I don't mean that in a shitty way, but I'm always, I've made 8 movies. My movies make hundreds of dollars, but I understand that there's a good feeling and a nostalgia with a lot of the stuff I did, and I do appreciate that, and that's really cool and neat. But I'm always kind of working on the next thing, So to just keep doing the same thing doesn't interest me. I don't poo-poo people that do, but my movies are all different, like, I'll try to do a rom-com with a tiny bit of bestiality, or a noir alcoholic clown film, or just straight on suspenseful scary Bigfoot movie. But I like to just keep challenging myself, like what is. I'm working on a couple things. I'm always working on a bunch of things, but one of the things, I don't know if we'll ever get it going, is I have 3 reels of an unfinished Ed Wood film that was supposed to be lost. It was called Operation Red Light. So I've been, it's very hard to explain that. It reminds me a little bit of this because it's part documentary, part real, part, like I found a guy that's he's 83 and he's in the footage, and he's like, that's me. So then it cuts to us finishing the movie, but he's playing the same role 53 years later. So it is like Windy City Heat in some ways, but there's a million layers to that thing. So it's the closest thing to this. It's not. Some of it's real, some of it's not. It's the real footage, and then going and trying to find the script. It was just so, it was crazy. We ended up at Cornell University, which oddly enough has the largest collection of Ed Wood smut, and with cotton gloves on while we're looking at, I Woke Up the Day I Died, just all these Ed Woods. Yeah, so that I would say it's about a third of a fourth finished, but Dana Gould and myself have been working on that. But then I wrote a kids movie because as my friends who read it, they said, they go, the most fucked up thing about this movie is you wrote it. Just so I'm always trying to see if I can challenge myself. That's why I'm interested in making movies. I make a living so I can make movies. I don't make a living making movies. That's a sour note. Hi.
At the premiere scene, how much of that fake ass movie did you guys have to cut together, and did you do the cutting together?
Well, that's a big part of why they're late. There is a movie, but not enough. And I told Perry that there was a stuntman that the stuntman finished. And I cringe every time I see it because I forgot my line. I was supposed to say when he gets, the stuntman comes in. I was supposed to say, because of STDs, stunts are not, sex scenes are now considered stunts. But I forgot to say that. Every time I see that, I was like, oh no. Hi.
I'm just curious how you got everyone to play ball. Because to me, it's like performance art. I mean, everyone's in on the joke, but everyone plays it so straight.
Yeah, I think it's just like all of us behind the scenes knew who to include that would get it, you know. Like Ansel Adams is my buddy Toby Huss. He's Artie, the world's strongest man, you know, strongest man, yeah, there's enough for a whole. There's probably a 5-minute cut of Ansel Adams giving Perry a workout. It's funny for me to watch. My brother's the first AD. He really is the first AD, and he's the one that's like, it's gonna take an hour, you know, when the vase gets broken. So thanks, Perry. No, we're going, thanks, Mo.
I'm just kind of curious as far as the inception of the film goes. Was this like written and then it was about finding your Perry in the end, or was it? No, those guys have, those guys have been doing these elaborate pranks on Perry, like I said, for 10 years. But they would never say, "Hey, gotcha, it's a joke," you know. It just continued and continued. And so this is the natural progression. And like Tony, aka Mo, I mean, I'm pretty sure he came. It's so him, you know, Wrigley, Jiggly Wrigley, and Windy City. It's funny. This movie that they're making looks like the trailers that you guys had before we saw the movie. You know, it looked a lot like it. Hi. What was your favorite thing to get a rise out of Perry? Well, there's a thing that I think is fascinating to me is if you accuse him of not being professional, he straightens right out. Like, and that's my own personal kryptonite. You know, like if you ever see people commenting on stand-up comedians, because comedy, something terrible happened about 15 years ago, maybe longer. It became sports radio, where people go, "He's the GOAT, greatest of all time." Blah blah blah. Bros argue about comedy, you know, and it makes me laugh. They'll be arguing about comedy, like that comic isn't professional. I can't think of a bigger insult. You know what I mean? Like that's why I became a comic. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be professional. You know, I started in the '80s. If we showed up, you were lucky. And if we weren't so high, we could do our act. That it was a bonus. So professionalism doesn't go into any of the comics I admire. Hi. I was wondering if Perry ever reacted in a way that was surprising to you, like didn't follow what you thought? Yeah, that sometimes he didn't get mad and stuff, so who saw the Lauren cut? Because yeah, sometimes he's just like, yeah, okay, you know. I think when he accepts things, it's sad, you know, like when he goes, I'm not gonna scream, when he's just on the way over in the limo. Hi. Oh my God. Sometimes Perry reacts almost violently. Yeah. So was there ever a time where like there's a concern of violence from you? Oh sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's scary. Yeah. I mean, there's footage where, not in the movie, different things where it goes to fisticuffs. You know, at that last screening, two male strippers showed up, and Perry got in a physical fight with them. So this thing is just weirder and weirder the more you talk. Hi. Is there another question? Yeah. Talking about the long cut again, the one thing I took away from it is just how much Perry was handsy with pretty much any woman he was ever with. Yeah. You get it in the movie, but was there ever a point where like he actually had to be, because it gets uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean that's like you see like during the when Jiggly gets her role, the Don and Mole rush right in and separate him from her, you know. And spoiler alert, that's a birdseed. Her breasts are just birdseed. About 10 pounds of birdseed. Hi. I thought it was brilliant the moment that he finally wins the award, and we're almost fucking happy for him. And then I think it was Dawn who drops the fucking thing, crashing down and breaking his fucking heart. Were you worried that you would send him into like heart failure? No. Because like I said, these guys have been winding him up for so long. There's lots of footage of Perry losing his shit. So I'm more worried about everybody's safety, but at the same time, we're playing pretty fast and loose. Like I was sitting there going, okay, Mole is stoned. Is he gonna get the right bet? Yeah, it was definitely intense too. There's so much stuff in there that didn't make it. Like there was whatever. Hey, I was just wondering if you thought about doing a sequel. Maybe some foreign country somewhere picks up on this. Oh right. They want to finance making the actual movie. Yeah, that's not even a stretch, you know. Yeah, I can see that in Romania. I can see that in Romania. Am I going out? It's my head. Okay. Oh, okay. But yeah, I know that people are very rabid about this movie. It's strange. It's like I said, I make really small movies, way under the radar. But I can't think of one of them that doesn't have really enthusiastic fans. It's strange, I don't make popular movies, but I make a lot of people's favorite movie. Like people will come up to me on Facebook, and they go, "Shakes Khan, man, I love Shakes Khan. Oh, thanks, man." And then they go, "Well, Pete, that movie sucks." Okay, well, it's just, you never see Sasquatch, I'm like, because there isn't one. But yeah, so it is kind of funny to run into people that see my different movies that have very vocal opinions on them, which is, I guess, as somebody who was trapped in doing the same thing over and over for so many years, the idea of doing the same thing over and over now as an old man doesn't interest me that much. I actually live in Ireland now. America got too great, and I moved there. But I go on the road and I come back and I do stand up and nice things like this. And but yeah, I'm working. Like I said, I'm hoping there's a couple of screenplays that I hope to get one of them going. But yeah. I worked at a video store in college, and World's Greatest Dad was my go-to to really test people and see if they're on a level. That's the only movie that corporate eventually was like, you gotta stop recommending. You can't recommend it. Yeah, I love that because there's a lot of World's Greatest Dad. World's Greatest Dad is a movie. It's a movie I did with Robin Williams, and if you've seen Evan Hansen, that's a joke. The movie came out a little bit before that, but it's a similar plot kind of. But well, if you haven't seen it, spoiler, maybe his son dies jerking off. But do you know how many Christmases and Thanksgivings I've ruined? It makes me so happy. Like, my family was together and we saw a big red box that said Robin Williams. And they went and read it and they go, yeah, that makes me really happy. It's very nice. Clutch made those dioramas, and it's nice that you guys. I did not know about this. That the charity is Lewy body dementia. And I like to. Robin had Lewy body dementia. And unfortunately, when he passed away, people made it about other things that were not true. They thought he was depressed because of work, or that he was on drugs, or all these other things. And he had Lewy body dementia, which is a really aggressive form of dementia, which was misdiagnosed as Parkinson's. Now, I'm not even faulting the doctors, because it's the kind of thing that people usually get diagnosed after they're gone. And but he wasn't alone. He wasn't. He had family and kids and a wife and people like me in his life. So the idea that World's Greatest Dad, there's a line in it where Robin's character says, "I used to think the worst thing in life is ending up all alone." It's not. The worst thing in life is ending up with people that make you feel all alone. But these fuckers online made a meme of him. They have like a sad Robin face, and then he says it. It's like. He said that in a movie, you might as well write nanu nanu. That always makes me mad, but I love the attention being brought to Lewy body dementia, and I tell these stories sometimes, but I know he and I were close because I spent a lot of time with Robin bored, and I know people can't imagine Robin being boring, but he would play Call of Duty for hours on end, and I'd be like pissed. I'm like, and he'd be playing other people online, and he's cursing, and I'm like, how old are these people you're playing? He's like, I don't know, 10, 12. So there's adults now that are like, I'm pretty sure when I was a kid that G from Aladdin called me a truck driver. Because he was. I heard it. This is Doubtfire says he's going to fist me. So, yeah, I miss him a lot, I would give anything to be bored watching him play Call of Duty right now. We have time for one more, so Joe, why don't you hit us with the last one? You want to talk about Kurt Cobain? Really cheer up the room over there? Oh, yeah. So were you invoking Ed Wood when William the Yes. He has to get through that door. I go, you really want to get through that door? I'm doing Johnny Depp doing Ed Wood. Yeah, I mean, you really want to get through that door. Not that much. So, yeah. I'll show you my Ed Wood tattoo when we get done. I have a half sleeve of Ed Wood, and my sister said, your uncle got a tattoo of Ed Hardy. But I feel a big kinship with Ed Wood, because I don't think he's the worst filmmaker. I think his stories are very personal. I think they're not boring. And he works with his friends, and he makes movies that no one's asking for. And that's been my operation. That's how I do it. Well, thank you very much. Thanks. If you want to take photos and things like that, that's step and repeat there. I'll hang out if you want. No pressure. Before you head out, we do have something we want to give you. So if anybody was here last year, we had a couple guests booked. One of them was the president of Trauma, Lloyd Kaufman. He was supposed to show up, but then he didn't. They canceled because he didn't want to take 2 planes. So unfortunately, we didn't have any guests last year. So we're very, very happy to have Bobcat here this year. So we want I'm going to hand it over to Maren, and she's going to present something to Bobcat. So I just want to say thank you so much for being willing to get on 2 planes to come here, possibly more. We didn't want to leave you empty-handed. We didn't want to send you back on your plane home without a token of our appreciation. So this is the Bob Award. In fact, it's the official junk food model, which we all know is death to infidels. So I hope you have room to carry on for that. nothing. You know what? Closest without going over. So we're going to take multiple answers. Closest without going over. Price is Right rules. How many episodes of Jimmy Kimmel Live did Bobcat direct? So take your best guess. Just numbers. Just throw around. How much? 150. 60? 280. 300. 420. 420. 21. 87. Jesus Christ. 301. No. Lower. Let's go a little lower. Actually, that person's right. Really? Yeah. All right, we're going with Bobcat then. It's on IMDb that has it listed on it because I did this for 3 years. So okay. And then you can figure, you know, I mean, we did take the hiatus, but yeah, it ends up being like 300 some episodes. Wow. Okay, so you win his cassette tape meat pop. I used to direct the Kimmel Show, and I tell a lot of stories, but Grover was on the show, so that was funny when Grover showed up. And I was definitely starstruck, and I couldn't talk. It was just laying on the floor. And I said to the puppeteer, I was like, you gotta put that on. He put it on, and he goes, hi, Bobcat. And I realized, oh, that's where you got your act. And the other thing was, I truly was thinking, like, I couldn't talk. I was like, I can't, Grover knows my name. I'm speechless. My daughter just worked for the Muppets. It's really cool. My daughter's a costume designer. So did you see Mild Ass? Mild Ass, my daughter did that. Or the Bridget Everett show, Somebody Somewhere on HBO. Rich. That's amazing. So supposedly this is an original screenplay of Shakes the Clown. Looks like it. Yeah. Feels like it. Yeah. 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 I'm pretty sure this is actually. And if you really are like a Shakes fan, if you read the script, you'll learn that no one said any of the script that I wrote. Like on the page, she was asked her on Sanford and Son. He's probably too young, but she had done the Chitlin circuit, and she did like, you know, her comedy was very, very, it's like in strip clubs and stuff. Her act was very blue, so they go, I go, well, because they were talking about they want to get on TV because everybody on TV gets laid, and one con goes, yeah, we're gonna get a lot of pussy, and then she's just supposed to say shut up, and I said, well, say whatever you want. She goes, well, they don't have the pussy I got a peanut butter pussy, brown, smooth, and easy to spread. And I didn't laugh, I go, cut. We don't want that way, but they made the movie, but yeah, you'll see that none of that is in the movie, because no, this is the actual script, because there's another script floating around because we did a table reading. We had I hired somebody that does subtitles to write out the whole movie again because it was so different than the script. So that's awesome. I don't know if this is the one. Do you have any Shakes the Clown trivia you want to pitch to the audience? Because I feel like now that we've authenticated this is the real deal, my questions are kind of lame. I'll tell you true or false, because this is it was Adam Sandler's first movie. True or false? True or false? What is his first movie? Overboard, also known as Chicks Ahoy. Because sometimes people think Shakes is his first, but he was in that movie before. Yeah, you just took multiple answers from the audience. Okay, yeah, good job. There you go. That's enough. I had met Adam Sandler, and we were about to make the movie, and I went to the bathroom, I was coming back from the bathroom, I was just walking down the hall and talking to him, and I was like, oh, you have the part. And he's like, what? You know, I go, because I could just tell, you know, the guy, he was just so funny and charming and nice, and I was just like, yeah, you'd be great in the movie. That's not the case, I did audition people. I remember there's this white kid, and I go, well, you know, he's supposed to be a radio flying. You're supposed to be scary, you know, menacing, and he takes his coffee mug and he smashes it on my table, on my desk, and he goes, was that scary? I go, I brought that from home. I still keep up. We had a screening of Shakes with Adam, and everybody came out. It was really nice. Alright, we just have one more thing. It's not as cool. I didn't mean to leave it for the last because it's certainly not the best. It's just a cool tote bag that says, I have a tape bag from, I think I got this on lunchmeat.com. I get a lot of stuff. So let's go with this one. Who can give me the name of the Tales from the Crypt episode Bobcat starting with Don Rickles? Does anybody know it? I don't know it. If you can't name the episode title, that's fine. Just if you can at least tell me what creature is involved in it. Yeah, you got it. Alright, good job. Alright, those are all the prizes we have. Well, wait a minute. That's not all the prizes we have. Yeah, the dog thing. What? So you're probably a little confused. Matt surprised me with the fucking dog trailer. He knows I hate that trailer, and he trolls me with it constantly because during COVID, for whatever reason, that movie got delayed in its release. So every time we went to the theater, it felt like I was seeing the dog trailer every goddamn time. And so, yeah, that was the context for why. Now, has anybody seen it? Yes. Well, so I have a confession to make. When I was talking to Bobcat's agent, they asked, "Are you going to have any other celebrities show up?" And that was before I knew that I would be inundated with requests to show the dog trailer from all of you people because you love it so much. Not the movie, just the trailer. And so I knew I had to do something really special. So I made a lot of calls, called in some favors. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you all to give a big Junk Food Film Festival welcome for Mr. Channing Tatum's co-star, the dog from the movie Dog. know you're coming to the stupidest film festival ever. Oh my gosh. Let me get this off here. How you doing there? Alright, let's just set that there. Okay, there we go. Alright, I see you got some surprises for me there. Right? Nope, nope, nope. Alright. Sorry, forgot there's a trade. There you go. Oh. Okay. There goes himself a back. Let's see what we got here. What'd you bring me? Looks like I got a DVD of the movie Dog. Did you take this from a Redbox? Oh, I'm sleeping. Okay. So, for a DVD from a Redbox of the movie Dog, can somebody tell me the name of the stand-up comedian who appears as a police officer in the Dog trailer? Yes. There you go. Have fun. Okay. Next prize. An actual hat worn by the crew from the movie Dog with Channing Tatum. No, he's not here. He's not here. No, he's not here. I'm wearing happy smells. It's okay. There you go. Okay. Can somebody tell me the name of the former mall rat who appeared briefly in the trailer? There you go, Rebecca. Yes, there you go. All right, good job. There you go. All right, no, the best prize ever is still in here. I apologize. So I need 2 volunteers. I'm not even going to show you what's in here, but I guarantee you it's amazing. I need 2 volunteers who think they know Channing Tatum movies. Oh, come on. All the way in the back. Yep, come on. I need one other. Oh, come on. Channing Tatum. You know, you can name at least one. Yep, up here. Come on. Come on. All right. This one is amazing. So, you will be playing for an actual piece of poop from the movie Dog. And I have a certificate of authenticity to prove that it's from the movie Dog. So we're going to have a Tatum off. We're going to go. We're going to start, and you're going to go and name Tatum movies. I had a list, but I mean, we got a whole crowd of movie nerds here. You guys can help me out. You know what Channing Tatum was in. Honestly, it's going to be really difficult. So, do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, so you go first. You have 5 seconds each. I'll count in my head. Start. Name a Channing Tatum movie. There you go. There you go. Sorry. Oh, it was Deadpool versus Wolverine. I can't give you that, but here is your shit. Everyone, I mean, thank you so much for, humoring me and doing this. I just want to say real quick, obviously Bobcat will be outside, the dog will be outside if you want to get some pictures when he wakes up. Get some signatures, then we're going to go next door to Carmody's. We have a great after party put on by our sponsor, Lucian Walker. We have DJs there, visual projections of some of the movies we're doing. My God. I just want to say for tomorrow we have a jam-packed day, more surprises, tons of great stuff. I would highly recommend, I know it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Please come for the Buttercream remix. If you saw the Munchie remix last year, it's even better than that. So we're going to start off with that. We're going to do the Cannibal music sing-along. We're going to watch The Fanatic, which if you haven't seen it, oh my God. I went through 4 hours of John Travolta interviews, so please come and see the supercut I made. We've got so many other great things in store for tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming, and head out and make an order tomorrow. Thanks everyone.